You're listening to Empowered to Lead, the Therapist Practice. I'm Lisa Catello, therapist, business coach, and your go-to for all things leadership and sustainable practice growth. This is your space for real talk, smart strategies, and grounded support to help you lead with confidence, work with intention, and build a business that actually works for you. Let's dive in. It's 9:47 on a Tuesday night. You've just finished the dishes, the house is quiet, your laptop is open on the kitchen counter because there's a clinician's contract that you've been meaning to look at. There's an email from a client that you're not quite sure how you're going to answer. And there's a number in your bank account that doesn't match the number that you thought would be there this week. And the thought that you have standing there in your socks or your bare feet like me isn't, I need help. It's, I just need to push through this one. And I want you to hear me when I say this, that thought right there, I just need to push through this one. That's one of the most expensive thoughts a group practice owner can have. And most of us have it 10, 15 times a day. Welcome back to the Empowered to Lead podcast. I'm Lisa Catello, and today we're going to be talking about the hidden cost of leading alone and what to actually do about it. And so let me start with what I don't mean. When I say leading alone, I'm not talking about being unmarried. I'm not talking about not having a team. I'm not talking about not having friends, because most of you have all three of those. Leading alone is actually more specific than that. It's being the only person in your life who fully understands what you're carrying as the owner of this practice. Your spouse loves you, and they don't fully get it. Your team trusts you, and they can't fully get it, and honestly, they shouldn't have to. Your therapist friends are peers, but they're not owners. They don't know what it feels like to lie awake wondering if payroll is going to clear. Your accountant sees the numbers, but doesn't see the weight of it. You're surrounded by people who love and respect you, and you are still the only person who can be in your chair. So that's what I mean by leading alone. And the cost of that aloneness is hidden. It's hiding because it doesn't show up as just one big thing. It shows up as a slow drip. There's decisions that take longer than they should. There's doubts that grow louder than they need to. There's boundaries that quickly or quietly slide, and not quickly, actually. You let things go. And there's a sense of normal that started to drift further away from your actual normal or your preferred normal than you realize. And today I want to walk you through 4 of those costs, because I think when you can name a thing, you can do something about it. And then for each one, I'm going to give you 3 or 4 concrete options so that no matter where you are this week, there's something you can actually pick up and try. So what are those 4 hidden costs? The first cost 1, is decision fatigue without a sounding board. So when every decision lands on you and you have no one to think out loud with, something happens to the quality of your decisions. You either start over-deliberating, where you spin on the same question for days and days, or you start under-deliberating and you just react to whatever is loudest or feels the easiest. Both of these are expensive. Paralysis costs you time and momentum, and reactivity costs you in the cleanup and the aftermath. The hidden part is that you stop noticing that you're doing it, and it just becomes how you make decisions. You don't intend to start overthinking things. You don't intend to become reactive. And yet, when you sit there and reflect on how am I making decisions, you're like, oh, this part isn't working for me. So here's what you can do about this part of it. Number one, build what I call a 2-minute peer or coach. Identify one other practice owner that you've connected with that is on the same kind of vibe, or a coach that you can text a decision to in 2 minutes or less. So something like, hey, I'm leaning toward X. Am I missing anything? And this isn't for processing. This is for reciprocal low stakes. And the goal is just to break the loop in your head. You want to have another voice, somebody to just check in with. Number two, another option is externalize before you decide. So when you catch yourself spinning and overthinking, write it out as if you were explaining it to someone else. So for some people, that's going to be actually getting out a journal and handwriting it. And for others of you, it's going to be enough to type it out. But seeing it just changes something. So quite often, you're going to see the answer as soon as you start writing and getting it out of your head. The other half of you will see exactly what's missing, and that's its own clarity as well. The third option is time box deliberation. So give yourself a deadline. I'll decide this by Thursday at noon, or I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to think about this, and then I'm going to revisit it on Thursday, and then decide. Most decisions in a practice can be reversible or short-term. Treating them as permanent is part of what makes them so heavy. The fourth option in this would be notice which decisions actually need you. We've been talking about delegation. And so a lot of what is draining yours actually isn't draining you, isn't actually yours to decide. Maybe you've delegated that, but now you're taking it back. So run your week through this lens. Notice what decisions actually need you. Which of these are genuinely owner level and which got escalated to me by default or because I am scared to let it go. The second cost, the hidden cost, is carrying every doubt alone. So how does this show up? What do you mean, Lisa? This one shows up as imposter syndrome, imposter feelings, or second guessing yourself, or that loop where you wonder if you are actually cut out for this. And here's what I've come to believe about that loop, is that doubt gets spoken to you or spoken out loud, whether it's to a peer or a coach who gets it, then shrinks. The doubt that stays in your head grows. Most of the imposter spiral is not actually about whether you're competent or not. It's about the absence of a mirror. And so here's some things that you can do about that. Number one, name the doubt out loud to one person this week. Say it out loud. Don't say it to your spouse, not to your team. Pick someone who you know at least gets part of what you're talking about. A peer or a coach, someone who's been in the chair that you're in. And that act of saying, I'm wondering if I'm in over my head with this hire, to someone who's been there, that's the intervention. Even hearing yourself say that out loud. Number two, keep an evidence file. Keep a note on your phone. Drop in your wins, your thank you emails, the moments that a clinician said something that mattered, and go and read that back. I have a silver box that I got from my practicum supervisor when we graduated that part of our program. And she put in some cards in there, and I've been adding things to that. And when things are rough, when some of that imposter syndrome shows up as a clinician and other ways, going back and reading that tells me the truth or reminds me of where I don't suck. Number three, separate the question from the verdict. So am I doing this well is a useful question. But the version I'm not cut out for this is actually a verdict that's masquerading as a question. So I'm not cut out for this. Am I cut out for this? Is different from, am I doing this well? What could I change? So when you catch the verdict or the definition, ask a question instead. Number 4, coming back again, find a peer or a coach who's 2 steps ahead of where you are. So an owner whose practice is at the stage you're heading toward, or they've been doing this for a couple of years longer than you and have a similar type of model. Watching someone else who has navigated the next version of what you are doing really starts to dissolve a lot of the, am I the only one story in your mind. The third hidden cost is leaky boundaries. And this one is super sneaky because it doesn't feel like aloneness at first. It doesn't feel lonely to be accommodating or trying to be a good leader or being someone who cares. But here's what aloneness does in that situation. When you don't have peers or a coach who's reflecting your blind spots back to you, you don't actually notice the boundary that you're letting slide until it's become a pattern. And that drift happens quietly because there's no one outside the system to flag it and say, hey, did you really mean to say yes there? Or why did you say no? What was that about? Here's what you can do about it. Number 1, pick one boundary that you know you have let drift and name it to yourself this week. You don't have to tell anybody else this. You're not fixing it yet. You're just seeing it. Say it out loud, write it down, put that in your phone. Most of us as owners can name 3 within 30 seconds if we're really honest with ourselves. Number 2, go back to that peer or coach and ask them where they hold a line that you don't. So how do you handle clinicians who are asking for last-minute schedule changes? How do you handle clients who are emailing directly when they're with another therapist on your team? Specific questions to specific people who have been there, who you trust, reveal where your norm has started to drift away from what is healthy for you. Number 3, audit or check your yes history. Look back at the last month. What did you say yes to that you wish you hadn't? And that pattern is where the boundary needs attention. Or maybe the other way around, where could I have said no? Or where did I say no? And then I went and changed my mind and had to backtrack. The 4th way of dealing with this is write the boundary down before you need it. So we know the boundaries are to protect. They're not to keep people out. So boundaries that you hold in your head get negotiated in real time and under pressure. When you write it down, when you've got something visual, it's a lot easier to hold yourself accountable and to hold to that boundary. So whether that's in an email to somebody or as a note or a reminder on your phone, write it down. The 4th hidden cost of doing this alone is that you start to normalize your own burnout. And this is the big one. And this is why I wanted to do this episode now before the summer. When you feel alone in this role, when you are alone in this role, you have no comparison group. It feels like nobody else leads the way that you do. Nobody else has the problems that you do. Nobody else has solutions to what you're facing. And you can't tell whether what you're feeling is normal hard day stuff, that we all have hard days. We can't take them all away. Or whether it's actually earlier warning signs of something serious. So you assume it's fine until it's not. I've watched too many owners, including myself at certain points, look back and realize the moment that they should have stopped was 6 months ago rather than the moment that they actually did. So here's what you can do about that. So I want you to reach out to 3 trusted people. Does what I'm describing sound normal to you? And their answer is your comparison group. If 2 or 3 flinch, take that seriously. Or if they're like, yeah, I've been watching you, been concerned about you. First of all, say, why didn't you tell me? But use that as your guide. Number 2, track one of your body signals for 2 weeks. We tell our clients this all the time, and we're so bad. Maybe it's just me, but a lot of us are so bad at doing this ourselves. So what's your body doing? How's your sleep? What's your jaw doing? How do you feel on a Sunday night as you prepare for Monday? Whatever is the most legible or understandable, noticeable for you, the patterns in your body tell the truth before the patterns in your calendar do. We know this. Put it into practice. Number 3, I want to encourage you to take 1 full day off this month. So look 30 days ahead, schedule off a day and put your phone in another room. This isn't a vacation. You don't have to plan a whole lot of buffers around it. Just take 1 day and notice what comes up. The intensity of what surfaces is information about how depleted you are. And that starts with the idea of taking that day off. Number 4, start spending time with other owners who are honest about their hard parts. Burnout normalizes isolation. Get back into honest company. You want to normalize being with peers or a coach who say the real things that calibrate your sense of what is okay to be carrying and what isn't. So let's go back to that 9:47 p.m. kitchen counter moment, because there's something that I want you to notice. Most of the counters I just gave you are small. So there's a text, there's a note in your phone, there's a 2-week observation, a day off. They're real and they can help. And I want you to pick at least one of them and actually do it this week. But I want to be honest with you. Some kinds of medicine only work at a certain dose. So a 2-minute text to a peer or a coach is a small dose. A day off is a slightly bigger dose. A coaching call is even bigger. So those doses can fit into a regular week, and there are things that are going to keep you upright. But if you've been listening to me describe these 4 costs and recognizing yourself in more than one of them, you're not in a regular week. You're depleted at a level that those small doses can't reach. What I have seen change owners, including me, is being in the same physical space as other owners for long enough that your nervous system actually settles. Long enough that the conversations go past the surface, and long enough that you remember in your body and not just in your head that you're not the only one doing this. And so that's what a few days away does that an hour a week can't. Not because the weekly work is wrong, because some kinds of medicine only work at a certain dose. And so that's why I run retreats every year through Group Practice Network. Giving yourself a few days away with other owners, giving yourself time, space, having honest conversations with people who are at the same stage as you, who are ahead, some are a little bit newer, and you just find that your nervous system finally drops out of the pushing through phase and gear, and it's the bigger dose version of every counter, every tool that I gave you today, and they're all in one place. If any of those 4 costs I named landed for you and you're tired of standing in your kitchen at 9:47, telling yourself to push through one more thing, the retreats are where you can stop doing that. And you can find out more of what we have coming up at grouppracticenetwork.ca/retreats. And before you go, next week, I'm following this episode up with something practical, and we're going to talk about building your group practice owner community. I'm going to walk you through a tool that I use called the Connection Map, which helps you figure out who's actually in your circle, where the gaps are, and what kind of support you're missing without really realizing it. So if today's episode named the cost, next week's episode is going to hand you the map. And if any of this landed, don't let it sit. Pick one of the counters from today and try it this week. And then come back next Tuesday and we'll build the bigger picture together. You don't have to keep leading alone. There's a room full of women and men, other therapists, group practice owners who get it, and there's a chair in it for you. I'm here for your growth, and I'm so glad you're here. I'm looking forward to hearing what you do to help yourself not feel so alone and avoid some of those hidden costs of leading alone. Until next time, have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with me on Empowered to Lead, the therapist practice. I hope you're walking away with something that you can put into action, because leadership isn't about doing more, it's about leading with purpose. If you're ready for deeper support, I'd love to see you inside the Group Practice Connection, my monthly membership where Canadian therapists like you get coaching, community, and the tools to build a business that actually supports your life. You can check it out at grouppracticenetwork.ca. The link's in the show notes. And hey, don't forget to hit follow so you don't miss what's coming next. We're building something great here, and I'm so glad you're a part of it.